Good morning, classmates. I'm Alex Love. Today, we're going to be talking about tuition-free college and why I believe it's a really big issue facing this country, particularly to our generation, the millennials, and to the generation above as well, I believe. It doesn't really matter to the older generation, I think, because they didn't have to deal with a lot of the things we're dealing with today, and I'll get into it, what that exactly is. First up, let's talk about student debt. It makes up $1.2 trillion of our nation's debt. $1.2 trillion racked up just because students want to go to college and invest in their future. So let's look back a little bit about how we got here. Let's look back at what the prices were like for people trying to go to college 40 years ago and exactly how much the price has gone up to today. According to collegeboard.org, in 1975, a student could attend a public free tuition college, just a public four-year college, at a price of $2,387. Just to go to a four-year school, $2,387 a year. And if you want to include room and board, about $8,000 a year. Now, what do we pay today? Just on average, because many schools are much, much more, especially if you want to go to the bigger ones, $20,000 a year is just the tuition fee for a public four-year college. So the price has more than doubled when you include room and board in 1975, when you just include the tuition of college today. Now you may think one of the argument is, well, then work for it. Why don't you just go out, find some work, make some money, and then you can save up for it? Let's look at the value of wages before you want to make that statement. Now most college students, we have jobs, and some of them may be good jobs. I love what I do for a living. But most of us being just about 20 years old on average, 21, 22, I know there might be a few who are a little older in the room, but I'm just going to go by the majority. The jobs that are available to us part-time while going to college, just roughly around a minimum wage. You know, maybe we can make $8 to $9, $10 an hour, but is that enough? Because the value of minimum wage, according to my research, has dropped nearly 15% between now and going back to the 70s and the 80s. So while price is just for tuition and comparing it to the full price in 1975 has more than doubled, how are we supposed to pay for it when the value of wages given to us at our age has dropped nearly 15%? We're trapped. So let's talk about the next thing. How much would it cost? What would be the price for taxpayers if we made public colleges tuition free? According to Bernie Sanders' campaign, when he first came out, $75 billion was roughly the amount. And according to US Uncut, if you can type in federal grants, roughly $62.5 billion. So let's just range it in the middle, $75 billion. Hey, you may think, whoa, that is a lot. I do not want to pay that. And I thought the same thing as well. When I first heard this, that's crazy. We can't afford that. How are you to ever make that for every single public four-year college all throughout America, let alone maybe community college, such as what President Obama has addressed? Let's look at some of the fundings we've made over the years instead of just that money, which could invest to a better future for a child. The cost of the war in Iraq, when you count all the medical benefits and medical emergencies that our heroes went through to go through over in that war, $6 trillion. So you don't want to invest that money, $70 billion, to pay for a tuition-free college for a better generation. Well, $6 trillion, much, much more, just went to a war, possibly controversial, possibly all for a lie, and as a result, the previous administration made about $9 to $10 million. Now that's a completely different issue. And John, I know you're watching. Full respect for you for serving. Thank you so much. But again, I feel like people like our good friend John, who are the true heroes of this nation, were played with like toy soldiers over there. They don't receive the benefits because we invested a war that was many years over budget, and now we can see it screwed up a lot of the economy and potentials we could have for the next generation in America. So there's the one issue with an investment we made, and again, $70 billion. That is a fraction of what it could cost, compared to going to the war in Iraq. So we could have easily still gone over there, yet just taken a little fraction out and made it better for college students, and still have had protection from a lot of terrorists that I know do exist over there in the Middle East. Again, that's still a bit of a different topic. So back to another investment, the war on drugs. Now, our generation has really discovered that drugs can be used for medical research, and it is possible, and it's been good for some state economies. Now to fight it, however, it's becoming a pointless battle and a losing battle. $40 billion, according to the New York Times article on this, $40 billion is what your tax money is costing you out of pocket to go fight it. To fight teenagers just smoking a joint on the corner, doing stuff to their own bodies. That's their choice. It shouldn't matter to us. And if we just stopped it for 2 years, we could afford tuition-free college. So again, let's look back a little bit. Just a fraction of a war in Iraq that roughly didn't do anything but destabilize a region of the world even more, and the war on drugs. $40 billion a year, just 2 years off that, we would have the money, and I don't see that as much of a threat to the nation as many people may say it would be. So let's talk about something else. I want to get a little personal now, and forgive me if I offend anybody, but there's a relationship to going to college and suicide, unfortunately. I'm so sorry if anyone in here knows anyone who has committed suicide through college, but I want to read you something based off the Huffington Post. Suicide is the second leading cause of death on college campuses. Nearly half of college students say they felt hopeless during one school year multiple times, according to the University of California, Berkeley study. So suicide has grown a lot over the years, and people are feeling hopeless and depressed. There could be a lot of issues with that, but something tells me if you're racking up more than $1.2 trillion to a nation debt in America with a future that may not be possible in such a tough job market, going bankrupt, just trying to get an education, I might feel a little hopeless too. And I'm not going to feel any better with it continue growing, and nothing is better for my kids in the future. So, excuse me, I'm sick, so I'm trying to make it through the speech. Let's talk about the Small Business Administration right now. This is about interest rates, because the next argument you may say, well, take out loans, pay them back in the future, and then you'll be good to go after your career starts. But how easy is it to pay back those loans? You take out roughly $20,000 a year, you're going to have to pay back 4.66% in interest rates as it grows and grows the more you don't pay it off. But a businessman, however, only has to take out 3.26%. 3.26% to take out a loan for a business, 4.66% if you want to take out a loan for a bachelor degree. And for a graduate degree, as our professor could relate to, she has gotten about 6 or 7 degrees, I don't know, but I lost count, so she's a hard worker. On average, 6.21%. So why are interest rates, which are another big cause of racking up student debt, so much higher for students just trying to get an education compared to businesses who could be corrupt for all we know, like the ones on Wall Street, or corporations that keep moving overseas when they keep laying off workers day by day, and the value of wages, as I pointed out earlier, keep decreasing. Now lastly, I want to talk about something that goes into tax money when we pay for FAFSA, when we pay for federal grants, things like that. This is by the Federal Higher Education Student Aid Foundation. So federal aid, when it comes to FAFSA, that will cost taxpayers $107.4 billion, according to a study in 2013. So let's think about this. $70 billion to pay for tuition-free college and tax money, or we can take money out of our pockets totaling to $107.4 billion when we try to pay for FAFSA and pay for federal grants. So as of right now, we could save nearly $32.4 billion in taxes a year if we made college tuition free than paying taxes after taxes for FAFSA, as well as a lot of other federal grants that clearly can't reach a lot of American students and also don't help as much as they should. So reflecting on that, $6 trillion for the war in Iraq, $40 billion a year to fight the war against drugs, and $107.4 billion in federal higher education grants and FAFSA awards in taxpayer money. Comparing all that to just the $70 billion it would take to make public four-year colleges tuition-free, we can make a better tomorrow if we make smarter investments, and we can make the next generation have a better future if we take public colleges and can make them tuition-free. My last statement, you may say, but it devalues the work and the pride in getting a college education. Does it really? Because I don't see any employers putting on applications, how much did you pay for college, or did you pay for it for yourself? I don't see employers asking us, did you pay for college, and if you didn't, I won't hire you because you didn't have to work for it or pay for it like this other student did. despite your outstanding GPA and internship experience, like I'm sure a lot of us have been working for. It's based off of education status. It's based off of your work drive in the classroom, not how much you paid for it. So why go bankrupt for it, and why even make that argument? So I say we make public colleges tuition free, and I hope you'll jump on board and help make a better tomorrow for America. Thank you.